till it was 12 o'clock Central. Our team did hit record. We're going to record today's session, send it out via email. So if you want to rewatch anything, or for any reason you have to jump off, then you can come back and catch it. So we'll send that out after all is said and done. We'll give a few more minutes for everybody to join us. How's everybody's day? I want you to tell me in the chat where you're joining me from. I think I might have some local friends with me today. But I would love to know, where are you joining me from? And this is your time. This is your space. I want it to be comfortable for you. I have my favorite cup of coffee. I even have my water if I need it. You can have camera on, camera off. I love to see your faces, and I may even challenge you to turn on your camera in a little bit. But I want this time to be for you to learn a little bit more about virtual assistants, ask any questions. I'm going to share more of my story and the team's story as well. So this time is your time to be comfortable, whatever that looks like for you. Nobody's telling me where they're from. Y'all, let's not be strangers. Tell me where you're at. You could even say north, south, east, and west if you wanted to. Oh, Denise, fabulous. I am a Springfield native myself. Croatia, yes. Y'all know where Croatia is. We'll talk about that later. I honestly, truly didn't know until I had to know, and I looked it up. Lots of friends from Croatia. Love it. Love it, love it. St. Louis. Yay, Katie. So much hearts for you, my dear. I'm so glad you're here. Ah, I feel your presence. She's a longtime friend. St. Louis, that's where I was born and raised. Anybody else? Without further ado, Katerina, are we ready? Thumbs up. Let's jump in. All right, let's jump in, shall we? Let me kind of give you a rundown of what today is going to look like. We'll do some quick welcome and introductions. And then I do want to tell my story. I want to tell you how I started in virtual assistants, what that looked like. I want to tell you a little bit about the Grow Thrive team, who they are, why they started, why they're here, introduce you to their course, the Virtual Assistant Academy. And then we're going to talk a little bit about getting started. And of course, Q&A at the end. I'm an open book, y'all. If you have questions while we're walking through some of the content today, don't hesitate to stick it in the chat. I'll keep an eye on that. But I also want you to have some time at the end to ask any questions that may come up at the very end. So now that expectations are clear, let's jump in. I have a question for you. Now, it's very important. This is key in having lives with me. Kaylee knows this. I love interaction. You are going to get more out of today's session if you interact with me, answer the questions. If you need a piece of paper and a pen, grab that, take notes, open a Google Doc, take digital notes. I want you to be interactive and participate with me, and I promise you'll get more out of today's session. So here's the first question. If you could change just one thing, if you could change one thing about your current career, what would it be? I'm going to give you a moment to think. You can write it down, and I challenge you to put it in the chat. What is one thing, if you could change, about your current career? Oh, great answers. More free time, not going into the office, have more clients, have someone else answer phone calls, more interesting people. Oh, these are great answers. Anybody else? What is one thing? Yes, more clients. I was listening to the podcast yesterday, and I'll be really careful not to go into all the nitty-gritty details because it was such a great podcast episode. But it talked all about the opportunity that we have to design our own life. We get to make these choices. We get to make the choice of who we work with. We can make the choice of how much we make. We can make the choice of what we get to do, but we have to make the decision that we're going to take that control back and make those choices for ourselves. And if we recognize, you know what, I am not happy with where I currently am, then let's dig into that and let's make some decisions and let's make some choices, because you are empowered to do just that. We can be designers of our own life, and recognizing there's something that I want to change in my current career. I want to be more flexible. I don't want to have to go into the office. I don't want to answer the phone. I want more freedom. I want more flexibility. When we own that, when we recognize that there's a problem, then we can move forward and look at what we can change. So let me share a little bit about my story. I started my journey way back when I had two littles, and I'll tell you a little bit about the specific dates. But I was at a point in my life where I was a stay-at-home mom. I had been a teacher. I had taught kindergarten for several years. I had even worked with littles in their homes, babies and toddlers. I worked with them. But when I started having children, we started our family, then I came home, and I had been a stay-at-home mom for 4 years. But I had that itch. I had that need to change something. I wanted something to do on my own terms. I wanted something where I could stretch and flex my professional muscles again, but I didn't want to sacrifice the time with my family, or I didn't want to have to pay the cost of childcare to go to work. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do that. And so I had to look at what my options were. And then came virtual assistants. And this really is my why, is my family. I wanted to spend more time with them. And I'm going to read this out loud, because when I typed this out, it was so powerful for me. And I encourage you to think about, even in this moment, what is your why? Why are you exploring making a change? Why were you interested in virtual assistants? My why is I want to be the best version of myself. I want to have freedom and flexibility to be present with my family, and the ability to take advantage of all that life has to offer. I want to design the life for myself, whether that be taking vacations, or whether that be taking my son and my daughter to the orthodontist when they need to and not have to worry about taking off work, not having to pay a ridiculous amount of money for childcare, all of those kinds of things. I want to make those choices. So back in 2017 is when I discovered virtual assistants. Somebody just introduced the term virtual assistant to me. I had no idea what that meant. I dove in, I researched, and I started my own business. Rad Virtual Support still exists today. In fact, I serve clients inside of high-level operations and project management and strategic thought, and I love what I get to do. In 2018, I was able to take my business that I started, I grew it, and I scaled it. I had subcontractors that were working directly with my clients, and I was making really, really good money while I was also working a full-time job. And while I went through another pregnancy and we added a third baby to our family, all while doing all of that. And my virtual assistant business allowed me to not be overwhelmed, to make some side money, and to thrive in being the best version of myself. In 2020, I pivoted my business and I moved more into doing the coaching and mentoring and less of the actual doing of the tasks. And that was a huge pivot for myself and a growth opportunity for me, because I tapped into something that I loved doing. Yes, I was a teacher previously, but now I get to take that love and passion for helping others and help them recognize and realize that they can change, that they can design their own life. And I dove more into doing more coaching. 2024 was another pivotal year for me in that I got into higher level skills and I really refined who I was, what I loved doing. And I also got some certifications around leadership and leading teams and coaching. And it was just another lever that I pulled for myself in my growth trajectory. Not everybody's going to have a similar path. Not everybody is going to have major pivots in their life of pregnancy and maternity leave, or having a big career change like you see in 2025. I ended up leaving my full-time job last year and went full-time back into my business. And now I am partnering with Go Thrive and helping them launch their new English version. We'll talk about that in a little bit, of their virtual assistant academy, which I'm super, super excited about. And here at the end of the day, what I want you to recognize is your timeline is going to look very different from mine. But that's okay. It doesn't matter what season of life you're in. Maybe you're retired. Maybe you're a recent college graduate. Age doesn't matter. Season of life doesn't matter. Virtual assistance is the opportunity for you to design the life that you want. And here's a fun fact too. I have been married to my sweet husband, Joe, for 20 years. We celebrated our 20-year anniversary. We have had 16 different rental addresses over the span of 20 years. Yes, 16, do the math. And we just bought our first house. So no more renting. We are here to stay, super excited. But that virtual assistant business went with me through all of those moves smoothly, with no hesitation and no transition. Again, your work doesn't have to dictate who you are and what you're doing and what your life looks like. You get to make those choices and design the life that you want. And my business has allowed me so many amazing things. It has really shone a light on my purpose and why I'm here. It has given me confidence. Y'all, going live on webinars was not on my bucket list of things to achieve. But what I realized is, oh my gosh, I love doing it and I'm really good at it. It's something that I enjoy. It's given me confidence. It's given me financial freedom. We have paid off my husband's school debt years early. How many of y'all have college school debt? That's a subject for another time. But I was able to use some of my finances that I was bringing in from my business to knock that out, pay it off early. In fact, when I first started my business in 2017, I had two littles. My main goal was to pay for my son's preschool and get a gym membership that had childcare. And that's all I wanted. I just wanted to work enough to be able to do those two extra things. 5 to 10 hours a week is where I started, and I was able to do that. It gave me the freedom to pay for his preschool and pay for the gym membership without feeling guilty or adding an extra burden to our finances. It's given me permission to exceed. It's empowered me that, yes, I can make these choices. It's given me amazing opportunities of connection. Shout out to Kaylee here with me today. She's one of the people that I have met along my path and have grown to love making those connections and relationships, including the Go Thrive team. That's another amazing connection that has come along my path because of virtual assistants, and it wouldn't have in any other way. Personal growth, and I showed you some of those key points in my timeline. Healing and health. I've gone through some very challenging times in my life, both emotionally and physically, but virtual assistants, because I wasn't burdened by my job, by my work, gave me the space to heal and be healthy. In fact, I got up this morning, I took my kids to school, dropped them off in the car line. Shout out to all my car line mamas and dads. And I left the car line and I went to the gym. And I gave myself the space and time to take care of myself and my health. And that's what my business has provided me. And not only that, it's not listed here, but it kind of connects all the dots. And that's joy. I love my business. I love what I get to do. And when I think about the question that I asked you, what is one change that you would make about your career path? In my mind, my career path is not that I want to go a different direction and I want to do something different. I want to do more of this because I love it so much and it brings me joy. So here's my next question. Jump into the comments. What brings you joy? And it can be from any span of anything, but I want you to point something out in your life that brings you joy. And I want you to name it and claim it and drop it in the comments. What brings you joy? Travel. I love that. Helping other people. Yes, Barbara, so beautiful. Family and travel. Data entry. Kayla, you are not a girl after my own heart because I do not love data entry, but I'm glad that you do. Oh, you're here. I love helping people, learning new skills. Oh, and Rosie, virtual assistants, you get to do nothing but learn new skills. Spending quality time with family. Oh, so good. So good. It's so important that you recognize what brings you joy. Because when you get to the points of making decisions in your business as a virtual assistant, and even making the choice of, is virtual assistance the right thing for me? You have to think about, is there a connection point between what brings me joy and what I'm going to be able to do? And if you ever get caught in a position where you're doing things that don't bring you joy, that's an opportunity to say, hello, stop, freeze, what's out of alignment, and make adjustments. What brings us joy? It's important to recognize that when we're looking at what we want to change, when we recognize there's one change or more than one that we want to look at, what brings us joy? Because that's going to help us look at what are some of the things that I can do to be able to make those shifts and changes. All right, now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick shift and I'm going to introduce you to Go Thrive. I'm going to do the best that I can, and the team, if I miss anything, watch the comments because the team may kind of add on to what I say as well. But I want to introduce you to Go Thrive and the team in Croatia. I will save this full story for another time, but this opportunity to collab with Go Thrive really came out of nowhere. I was not looking for it. I was not asking for it. And it came into my inbox. And like I said earlier, I had to look up where Croatia was because I had no idea what it was. But this picture says so much about the team at Go Thrive. When I first met with them, one of the things that stood out to me the most was the focus on connection and community. Yes, we need to know the logistics of starting a virtual assistant business. We need to know and learn how we can go find clients. We need to learn, how we can do all of the back end things inside of our business and serve our clients with excellence. Those are all very important, but those actually are secondary. What's first and primary is connecting with each other and cheering each other on and building a community of support. And that's what Go Thrive has done. And that really is their focus of their mission and vision. Go Thrive has built, you'll see here on the screen, a virtual assistant academy that helps you to go from zero, no clients, to paying clients through several ways, through practical training, through real world tools, and a supportive international community. And when I learned and saw how this operated within their team, it was a no-brainer. I want to be a part of this. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I want to be a part of what they're doing. They started in Croatia. They were an initiative to support and train people that were looking at virtual assistants and what that is and what that means. And they really did see a gap. They saw that people were learning skills. They were learning about virtual assistants, but they were struggling to really find client opportunities that were legit and willing to pay them good money. How many of you who have been in the virtual assistant world, explored it, all of the things, have seen those job ops where they're wanting to find a virtual assistant for literally pennies? Like, they're out there, and that's not what people are worth. People are worth, you are worth so much more. And Go Thrive wants to help individuals recognize they have gifts, talents, and abilities, and they can charge for what they're worth. They don't have to undermine who they are for low ballers. No, thank you. That's right. And their mission really became clear. They wanted to take the practical education of learning how to be a good virtual assistant, what that looks like, and giving you direct access to the job market. So many of you mentioned, I want more clients. Go Thrive sees that gap and is working towards fixing that. And they've been so successful. in their area. They are the #1 virtual assistant course in their region. And guess what? Here we are. They are expanding globally with our US launch here in 2026. And that's where I come in. They had this fully built out, beautiful course, community, and a platform for virtual assistants, but it wasn't in English. So that's when they reached out to me. And so I get the privilege of coming on here and getting to teach the amazing content that they've already put together so that we can expand this amazing opportunity and designing our life using the power of virtual assistants. They help a variety of different people. They help people that have never heard of virtual assistants. They want to explore it. They want to learn about it. Those aspiring virtual assistants that really need that step-by-step path. They also support experienced VAs who are ready to level up, maybe specialize, charge even more than they are currently charging. They support online business owners, entrepreneurs looking to outsource and find amazing virtual assistants and scale efficiently. Clients that are looking for trusted virtual assistants. Think of yourself and the opportunity that you have, or even if you already have a virtual assistant business. Your business is so important to you. And if you're going to expand it and bring support in, you want to find somebody that you know, like, and trust, and Go Thrive helps make that connection. So before we move on, here's just a couple of highlights, because for many of you, Go Thrive is completely new, and I wanted to give them due credit and giving some time to focus on them as well. They are the #1 virtual assistant ecosystem in Europe. They're expanding this year globally and coming to the English language world. Not just the US, but anywhere that speaks English that we're super excited about. They are the only Monday.com. If you're familiar with Monday.com, shout out Monday in the chat. Curious to know how many of you know, love, and use that platform. They're the only Monday.com authorized partner in the Adria region. They are structured, practical training for virtual assistants, OBMs, and for some of you, that's online business managers and freelancers. They have real client connections, not just the education. Is the education important? Heck yes. I just recorded a bunch of lessons for the Virtual Assistant Academy. It's vital, it's essential, but it's not the only thing. And this is key: thriving community. They have built such a beautiful connection and community of virtual assistants that have regular meetups. I get to go to one in March. I'm super excited to be there in person. And they also have experts inside of their platform that can help and support you. They have exclusive reward programs, including an exciting New York City trip for top performers that are coming up. And you can check that out later. Alex uses Monday.com and loves it. It's a really, really great platform. We can talk about that later. But there's some quick highlights. And team, if I missed anything, let me know in the comments and drop it in there. All right, here's my next question. What will becoming a virtual assistant allow you to achieve? I've talked about my story. I shared a little bit about Go Thrive and why they started and what they've been able to achieve. Many of them are virtual assistants themselves. But what will becoming a virtual assistant allow you to achieve? Is it more travel? Is it financial freedom? Is it not having to answer the phone calls anymore? Not having to go into the office? Freedom and purpose, financial freedom, being grandma. Oh, I love that so much. Freedom, time, and financial. Time is so valuable, and we have so little of it. I was watching, while you're typing your answers, I was watching a TED Talk not too long ago, and he had a visual up on the screen, and it was all of these little boxes, and every box represented, in an average span of life, the number of hours that we have in our life. Like, you could see it. It fit on one screen. And then he blocked them out. Like, this is how much we spend typically sleeping. This is how much time we spend typically working. And slowly and surely, those empty boxes got lower and lower and lower. And then we were left with this amount of undedicated time. And it was so small. Our time is so valuable. And I want us to be able to spend more time with our family. I want us to be able to pay off some of those things so that we don't have to worry about it. So it's not a burden, so that we can go travel, all of that. Virtual assistants can be one of the tools that you use to design the life that you want. So let's talk a little bit about logistics. Okay, there's some background, there's some story, but let's talk about logistics. Let's talk about, what do you even need to get started? Well, you don't need a whole lot. And that's the beauty of it. And for me, that was the beauty, because I didn't have a whole lot of extra money laying around. In fact, that's why I wanted to start becoming a virtual assistant, so that I could be able to have more flexibility. But there are some key things that you want to keep in mind. First, you need to have a laptop or a computer with strong internet. I don't recommend that you start a virtual assistant business only using a mobile device. There's just some limitations that you have with some of the platforms that you might use with your clients, and it can get a little clunky. So I definitely recommend that you have a good laptop or a computer, desktop, with stable internet. Now, I will say, it doesn't have to be a brand spanking new device, computer or laptop. In fact, I got mine used from a used computer store, and that lasted me, I think, 2 years before I ended up being able to fund and buy my own new computer. You also need to have willingness to learn and take action. Somebody said earlier, being able to learn new skills. I promise you this from the very beginning, you will not know everything there is to know about virtual assistants. If you can understand that, name that, and claim that now, your life will be a whole lot easier, because there's so many platforms that are out there. There's so many systems and processes and things to learn and understand, and no two clients are exactly the same. So if you have that willingness to learn and take action, that's key to being a successful virtual assistant. You also need to have around 5 to 10 hours a week to be able to work on your virtual assistant career. When I first started, I would work during nap time, which was 2, maybe 3, if I was lucky, hours in the middle of the day. And then I would work after the kids went to bed, which could be another 2, 3, 4 hours. And that was enough time that I was willing to give to my business when I first started. As I continued to grow and expand and take on more clients, then I looked at, okay, how can I do this more? Well, now I can pay for a gym membership with childcare outside of nap time. So now I have a few more hours that I can play with. And my oldest is in preschool that I'm paying for. So it just kind of organically grew with itself as life changed and life grew. But you want to have at least 5 to 10 hours at the very beginning. And you want to have a growth mindset. Always be willing to expand and learn and look for the new amazing opportunities that are out there. We have in no way, and I'm going to talk about this on the next screen too, we have in no way hit the cap of an overcrowded market of virtual assistants. There are opportunities everywhere. And if we are willing to enter in to that mindset of, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can learn. Yes, I can grow. It is a game changer in your success as a virtual assistant. Now, here's a couple of myths that I want to kind of bring forward. First of all, virtual assistant is not just admin work. It is not just checking someone's email or checking somebody's calendar or doing research. There are so many other things that virtual assistants can do. I like to think of virtual assistants as the main umbrella. It's the main term that more people are recognizing nowadays. But underneath that umbrella, there are so many specific titles and things and services that you can offer. It is in no way just admin work. There's tech, there's marketing, there's systems and processes, SOPs, there's AI, there's strategy. There's so many things that are out there. You also don't have to have years of experience. Y'all, when I started my business in 2017, I had never owned my own business before. I had taught kindergarten, so I could teach people how to read. I knew how to do that. And I was a pro at changing diapers. I could do that. I was a stay-at-home mama, but I did not have experience owning my own business. But I did have the willingness to learn. And most clients will hire you based on who you are and that willingness and that growth mindset than they are just checking the abilities and experience that you have. In fact, when I started my business, I was just doing very simple virtual assistant tasks. And there was a client who came across my path Somebody had said, hey, you should apply for this job. And it was an executive assistant. And I looked at the list and I had not done more than half of the things that she was asking for. She was asking for help in platforms I had never even heard of. But she said, go for it. Just put yourself out there. So I did. And I had several conversations and interviews, and I was honest. I don't have experience in all these platforms. I was a kindergarten teacher, but I have the desire to learn. And she said, Rachel, I want to hire you because you have the drive to do it. And that seriously changed the trajectory of my entire business because I was honest and I had that willingness to put myself out there and try and learn new things. Clients will hire you not just because of experience. It's not a real career. Do you want to have that argument with me? I can have that argument. It absolutely is a real career. And so much so, you get to make the choices. You get to make the choices of who you serve, what you're going to do, how much you're going to charge, when you're going to work, where you're going to work. You get to make all those choices. And it absolutely is a real career. When I was at the peak of growing and scaling my business, I was making a 6-figure income. When I left my job in 2025 and came back to virtual assistants, I again replaced my income with the work, and I wasn't under somebody else's umbrella. I was making the choices. You need to be online all day. You do not. My example, I took my kids to school. I went to the gym. I came home. I got ready for the day. I had spaciousness, checked in with my clients, did a few things, and I'm live with you now. You do not need to be online all day. For those of you that are in the chat, let me know and have a virtual assistant business or have explored this before. Can you think of any other things, any other myths that you have learned along the way? I would love to hear them. Drop them in the comments. One that I thought of too was you have to be a certain age. No, you don't. You can be younger, you can be older. You can be college student, freshly out of college or in college, or you can be looking at retirement, wanting to be a grandma. Like, absolutely. There's no limitations. There's lots of myths that are out there. There's a few truths for you to consider. AI is going to take over. Oh, Denise, that is a soapbox I could get on for a while. AI is not going to replace virtual assistants. Virtual assistants using AI will replace the virtual assistants who are not. It still requires a human touch. It still requires that human interaction to empower and make AI amazing that it is. We will not be replaced by virtual assistants. And you'll learn a lot about that inside of the VA Academy if you join us. Traits versus skills. I kind of touched on this a few minutes ago, but there really are some essential traits about yourself that are so important to be being a successful virtual assistant, and understanding the difference between key traits and hard skills is really vital to your success as a virtual assistant. And it can guide you in evaluating, is this the right path for me? What's great about virtual assistants is that there is no box that you have to fit in. You are the box. Like, you being you is exactly what makes you an amazing virtual assistant. The skills that I bring to the table may be similar to the skills that you have, but the way that I present them and the way that I achieve them are going to be different than the way that you do. That makes us beautiful as humans. And that's why coming together in a community of collaboration, not competition, is so powerful. And so recognizing that, yes, you have unique gifts, talents, and abilities that clients want to pay for and are looking for every single day is so important to recognize and so important to claim. So here's the question. What is one specific skill you can bring to clients? If I were to come to you and say, Denise, I need to hire you for your skills, okay, what would you say that you would offer? What are the skills? What are the services you would offer me today? Tell me in the comments, what is one specific skill you can bring to clients today? Calendar management. That's a good one. And a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs are just so busy and their calendar is a hot mess and they need to schedule more appointments, but they can't unbury themselves from the mess that is their calendar. Same with their inbox. Absolutely. Process management, organization, event planning. Oh, Monique, I so appreciate you. I was doing a lesson on event planning inside of the Virtual Assistant Academy, and I was thinking, you know what? This is the type of service that requires a very specific brain because there are so many details to think about and vendors and connections and all of the little details. That is absolutely a skill to bring forward. Social media management. I saw community management or group management. Absolutely. Web design. Oh my goodness. Y'all fit beautifully under the umbrella. Those are the skills that you bring: clarity, time management, peace of mind. Oh my goodness. If you can come in and you can offer the skills that you have, be yourself, and the client can hand them over with trust, the weight that is lifted off of their shoulders is priceless. And when you can achieve that for them, they will keep you around for a long, long time. Yes, bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is not my skill. I have somebody do my books because that I go cross-eyed looking at all of that stuff. Oh, debt collection. Yes, consistency, accuracy, accountability. Okay, y'all are with me. You got it. You got the skills. So good. All right, so here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about, like, is this a path for me? Does this make sense? Can I do this? Maybe you're currently at a full-time job and you only have a limited amount of time. Maybe you're not currently working and you have a whole lot of time. That doesn't matter. That's your story. That's your path. What you have to decide is, there's a change I want to make. I want to be doing things that bring me joy. Is this the path for me to take? It is if you're looking for flexible, remote work that you can do. You enjoy helping businesses run better. You can see all of the details. You can organize. You can connect inside of a community. You can pick up the phone if you have to do it that way. You're ready to learn, grow, and earn. I think we should put that in all caps. Like, yes, we're starting a business. We want to make money. And are you ready to do that? Are you ready to put in the work that it's going to take? This is not, I will say this again, and then we should maybe add this to the myth page. This is not a get rich quick scheme. It's reality. It is actual truth. This can actually happen, and we see it happen all over, but it does take work. It does take grit. Yes, I have an amazing story. What I didn't talk about is all of the hard times that have come around, and there are going to be peaks and there are going to be valleys. But if you are ready to do it, you can find amazing success and design the life of your dreams. This is a path for you if you value freedom, but also structure and creating that structure for you. And so what we've done here at Go Thrive, if we have taken what has been so successful in Europe and we're bringing it over here to the English speaking market, specifically here in the US, and we're introducing our VA Academy from zero to clients. Y'all, I have seen in this course, and we're going to show you here in a second, this is legit. I also want to tell you this, and I didn't tell the team that I was going to say this, so they may kick me off after I say this, but you don't have to take a course to be a virtual assistant. You don't have to. You don't have to have a college degree. You don't have to have a specific certification. You don't have to have all that. But I am telling you this, and from one that purchased a course at the very beginning of my path, is that having that step-by-step, that understanding of how do I go from nothing to paying clients can be a game changer. And what they've done is they've opened up the doors to purchase early. We opened the doors to the VA Academy on March 1st. But if you decide to purchase early, you do get a special savings. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. But let me talk about the course itself. And I want you to be thinking about questions that you have about virtual assistants, about your situation, about starting, about growing or scaling, because we're going to have some time for Q&A later where you get to pick my brain and ask me whatever questions you have. But I want to talk a little bit about the course itself. The VA Academy is a core course overview for virtual assistants. And being the one who taught the course, it really was cool seeing how we've taken the first half of the course is all about how to start your business and how to understand the logistics behind that, but also introducing you to some of the tools and techniques that you need to be aware of as a virtual assistant. It really does provide that interactive format that offers community and collaboration, not competition, where you can participate and learn from each other and from amazing industry experts and mentors, really giving you an overall experience inside of the Academy. It has a comprehensive course structure where it's designed to cover essential skills, including marketing, client management, business development, and really allowing you to leave that course feeling confident and empowered of, okay, I know how to do this. I know what to do. And we've done that inside of the course structure. But not only that, real world application. How many of you have ever taken a course, real ethereal, where it seems like a great theory, but you really don't understand how to take that and apply it into real world life? Well, we've done that for you inside of the course. Here's what it is. Here's what it can do for you. It sounds great. Rachel, your story is amazing, but what does that mean for me? We're going to apply it in real life so you can take it inside of your path and your journey in whatever that looks like. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. Let the amazing and beautifully talented Katerina share her screen, and we're going to see how this works, y'all, because she's going to share her screen and then I'm going to talk while she manipulates, and we're going to show you inside of the course. Look at that. We did it. Okay. So VA Academy is housed on the Thinkific platform. There are close to 90 lessons in total. Don't be overwhelmed by that. We've broken up in modules so you can real quick introduction, and then we look at setting up your business, and you can see on the right hand side, you can see the number of lessons that are in those modules, tracking your income and expenses, pricing your services, finding your clients, protecting your data, onboarding your clients. And that really is kind of where we take the line, draw a line in the sand of, okay, let's get your business set up. Let's talk about the logistics, but then let's talk about how do we serve our clients with excellence? What are these services that we're going to offer? And we go through all of them. And I talk about different ways to apply that real world application, whether it's calendar management or email management. And we have other ones down here. We have communication, data storage, social media, lead generation, research, travel. Oh my goodness. Event planning. There's the event planning, communication skills. I'm going to stop on this one for a minute. Communication skills is a great module because it talks about some of those real world situations that are going to come up for you in, what do I do if a client requests a service that I don't know how to deliver? Or what if a client is late? What if a client assigns me more tasks than I agreed to in my contract? And we talk through what that looks like. We talk about reporting, responding. And if you've noticed, as she's been kind of scrolling through, not only are we giving you lessons, we're giving you templates, we're giving you assignments, we're giving you all the tools that you're going to need for the education portion. And then you have the access for the support and the communication and the collaboration and community that we have built here at Go Thrive. So there was a quick sneak peek, and I hope that that maybe sparked some specific questions for you as we continue on. And then I'm going to jump back into my slides. Thank you, Katerina. That went beautifully. Okay. Okay, let me go back to my slides. Okay, so what I want you to really catch, and what I don't want you to hear is Oh, here's another course and more money I have to spend. I really want you to capture what the benefits are of joining. This is something, by joining Go Thrive, you're just not purchasing a course, and you're just not getting our personal advice or hearing our story. You are really getting structured learning. And as a teacher myself, that was so important that when I came to the table to present, I wasn't just giving you the advice, that I was showing you how to do it and walking you through those. And the team has made some great templates and resources for you. Feedback, clear guidance. Again, not just the course, community, networking, and y'all, one of the biggest pain points is, okay, I can learn how to do it. I know I have the skills, but how do I find the clients? And that's the gap that Go Thrive has done an amazing job of filling. And inside of the Go Thrive platform, there are amazing work opportunities. Go Thrive is able to connect virtual assistants with a wide range of job opportunities, allowing them to explore various projects and clients that are best suited for your skills and interests. And we're going to drop some links in the chat as well so that you can go check it out, sign up for yourself. But I wanted to just kind of give you a sneak peek inside of here as well. You also get ongoing support from the team. We're not just going to leave you high and dry. We're going to give you mentorship and guidance. And there really is going to be a difference. And this wasn't necessarily planned, but I feel the need to bring this forward. There's going to be a difference between being coached, being taught, and being mentored. A coach is going to ask you the questions. A coach is going to ask you questions to help you self-discover what the right next thing is. I see chats coming through. I need to make sure that I watch that so I don't think, oh, great. Thank you for the links down below. A coach is going to ask you questions. A teacher is going to show you how. They're going to show you how to do it. But a mentor is going to walk alongside of you while you do it. And understanding the difference can be so powerful in the support that you choose inside of your business and what you need. And Go Thrive does all three, and they provide those for you. They also have the available tools. They provide essential tools and templates that help streamline your own workflows and enhance your productivity. I've seen them myself. They are amazing. So here's the special offer. Before we get to all of the Q&A, I would be amiss if I didn't share this with you. Okay, the special offer, yes, there is $100 off if you're able to join before the official open date of March 1st, but you get a list of 200 plus virtual services that you can offer today. Are you going to offer all of them? No, and we talk about that in the course. You're going to get the ebook on Virtual Assistant Practical Guide, the AI tools every virtual assistant should know, event planning for VAs, how to find clients as a virtual assistant. You're also going to get this amazing challenge from zero to clients. One of the hardest jumps, hardest leaps is finding that first client and then finding the second and the third. And we want to help you be able to do that. You'll get the professional portfolio template. We'll provide feedback. You get the business idea validation tool and roadmap to launch. Y'all, the list goes on and on. Step-by-step instructions. And then Go Thrive provides the Monday.com enablement program, which allows you to learn Monday.com. And for those of you in the comments who have used it, yes, there is a learning curve to be able to figure it out and be able to use it, but it brings so much value to your client when you're able to use that specific tool. And with Go Thrive being a validated partner with Monday.com, it allows you to be connected to some amazing clients who need some support. So there's your special offer. I want to kind of give some time and space for you to think and process, but I also want you to tell me this, and this is an important question. As a teacher, as one who wants to make sure that what we bring forward is valuable and helpful to you, I want you to tell me, what was most helpful for you today? In our time together, we've spent almost an hour, y'all. In our time together, what has been most helpful for you today? Number one, it allows you to affirm that for yourself. And number two, it also helps me to understand in training what we might be able to do better or what we need to do more of. So let me know what was most helpful for you today. And then we're going to dive into some Q&A, which is my favorite part. Getting an inside look. I know, like when we see ads and information online, like, what is this? This is new. This is exciting. But when you get to actually see inside of it, it's a game changer. And the value is incredible. Incredible. Yes. Seeing that you're not on this adventure alone. Absolutely. When we don't have to be. And that idea of connection and community and collaboration over competition, it's a game changer. Understanding the steps. Yes. Oh, my story. I'm glad that that was helpful to hear. I think sometimes, this idea of virtual assistants can be so unrelatable, but when you can hear somebody's story who's been in it and is walking it now, like literally doing it right now, it can really help kind of bring it all to a more solid understanding. Most helpful was your experience. And, your interaction with me doesn't have to stop here. I'm going to be inside of the platform helping and supporting and doing trainings and continuing to make the VA Academy the best option and course out there. And there are so many amazing courses out there to learn from and look at and consider. But what I love most here about the one at Go Thrive is that collaboration, connection, and communication. Yes, over competition. We don't have to compete. We can support each other. All right, y'all, let's do some Q&A. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I can only see so many faces when I'm teaching with slides. I want to see more faces. All right, what questions do you have for me today? Let me also look up. I know we had a few questions that came in prior to. Okay, so one of the questions that we had while you're thinking was how much does it cost to start a virtual assistant business? Well, we talked about what you have to have: a good computer, good internet, the willingness to learn. To start your own virtual assistant business really is going to cost very minimal, if anything at all. You want to look at and consider where you live and really do your research to understand what your state, your country, your city requires as far as registration goes. For me here in the state of Missouri, I just needed to register for my EIN number with the IRS, and that took literally 10 seconds and it was free. There was no cost to it. Now, I did decide to take it one step further and register for my LLC, but I didn't even do that right away. When I first started my business in 2017, I just got my EIN number and I was registered as a sole proprietor in the state that I was in at the time. And I didn't get my LLC until later on down the line. And when I looked at where I was located in Texas, and then I registered in Texas, and then I transferred it to Missouri. But the cost was very minimal, and my business paid for the cost. So what's most important there, and this is what I want you to hear, is that you have to do your research on where you live. Inside of the course, we give you some great resources on where to go, where to find all that information. But to start your own virtual assistant business is virtually nothing to get started. And if you can find somebody in your immediate circle of connections that needs your help, there you go. There's your first client. Monique asks, did you have a website? Great question, Monique. I did not. I did not have a website for 2 years. I used a portfolio that I had, and inside of the VA Academy, you get the template for that. I just used the portfolio that I put together in Canva, and then I had my social media. I had Facebook. That was it. And that's all that I used until I got to the point where I could pay somebody to help build my website, because I'm not necessarily a website designer. And so that was very intimidating for me. So it was about 2 years before I then got a website. But I sold out my services with just my portfolio and my Facebook page at the time. Great question. What makes you so special from all those VAs? What is your super skill, so to speak? What are you the most proud of that you have done as a virtual assistant? Woo, my super skill. Okay, lots of questions. Great questions. it goes back to a point that I said earlier. And I don't know if it makes me special from other virtual assistants, but I think it's so vitally important is that you're willing to be yourself. You are not going to be an expert in everything. I am not an expert in website design. Kayla or Kaylee, sorry, I said your name wrong the first time, dear. Kaylee loves data entry. I despise it. I go cross-eyed when I'm looking at spreadsheets. It doesn't bring me joy, but I recognize that in myself and I'm honest about that. And I'm willing to learn. That one client that I referenced where I became an executive VA, I was honest with her that I didn't know everything, but I was willing to learn. And so I think that that is what's so important as a super skill is that you're willing to accept who you are, you're honest about who you are, and you're willing to learn despite of all of that. What am I most proud of? Oh, that's such a great question. I am most proud of in this moment that my kids have seen what I've done. And that's where I start to get emotional because it goes back to my why of why did I even start this business in the first place? And I started my business so that I could be with them and that I could pick them up when they had a doctor's appointment or when they were sick, or every day I go through the car line and pick up my babies from work. That's my why. That's why I did it. And they know mama started her own business and they've seen the peaks and they've seen the valleys and they've seen all of it, but they see mom shining and doing something that she loves that doesn't follow the typical career path. Yeah, I went to school to be an elementary teacher. That's what I went to school for. Am I an elementary teacher right now? No. I actually heard a statistic this morning. 15% of those that go to college are actually operating in a career that they went to school for. But what I'm doing is something that brings me joy. I'm designing the life of my dreams. That's what I'm most proud of. Oh, great question. Great question. Okay, there was another one back on our chart that I wanted to address. Oh, okay. I don't think Rachel's on live with us, another Rachel, but she asked a question about like supporting businesses with services such as systems and processes and SOPs, which absolutely you can do. And I would consider that to be more of a strategic thinker in coming into a business where they don't have systems and processes documented. And you can come in and learn what the business owner is doing, how things are connected, and then being able to take all of that information and document it so that it's repeatable and trainable and understandable by those that may come into the business. And that 100% is something that you can bring to the table. And then, learning different project management tools to be able to organize that. We talk about different tools inside of VA Academy. We also talk about how to keep things organized in a drive like Google and how to keep those things easily findable so that those who need access to it can find it quickly. So absolutely, the sky is endless with options and there's no one path for you. There are so many different things. When I first started, I started with social media management, community management. I was doing, I like to call it cupcake work because it was very simple. And then I realized I don't like social media management. I do not want to do this long term. So I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to offer it to my clients or future clients. And I zoned in on what I love doing. And that's where I took my business. And that's how I grew it. Oh, Barbara, great question. What do I want to achieve in the future? Okay, this is going to sound corny. So just take it. But this is from my heart, I promise. I want to help others be able to see the potential they have in themselves and move to Croatia while doing it. They tell me I've not been yet. They tell me that it's gorgeous and I cannot wait. But no, I truly do. And for those of you that know me, I know Alex is here and Kaylee is here. I mean this from the depths of my heart, is that I want others to see their potential and say yes to themselves and go do it. Like, yes, I can teach you, I can show you, I can walk alongside of you, but for you to go do it and to make that choice for yourself, and for me to get to cheer you on the sidelines, that's a dream job for me. And that's what I want to continue doing. Great questions. Anyone else? Oh, you made my day by being here. Oh, thanks, Alex. I appreciate you. I'm overwhelmed with love and support and encouragement in my life. Y'all, if for those of you starting your business, getting started, jumping into this thing, find your people. Find your people. Surround yourself with the people that are going to encourage you, that are going to lift you up. And there's nothing like finding a virtual assistant community that understands what this world is like. Because you may go to a holiday gathering and sit around the table and talk about your business, and they're going to go cross-eyed and they're not going to understand what you're talking about. And is what you're doing legit? Like, are you being scammed? No, it's real. Like, yes, this is real. And finding your people like we have here at Go Thrive, it's unmatched. And it's going to help you and encourage you along the way. And they'll follow you wherever you go. I've got friends here in the comments. I love that. All right. Any more questions before we wrap up today? I don't want to leave anybody hanging. Great questions, y'all. I'm going to ask you one more question myself before we head off. I want to ask you this. What is one step that you can take today in making this choice for yourself? What is one step that you can take today to do this for yourself? What does that look like? We've talked about the change we want to make. We identified one change. We talked about the joy, what brings us joy, what's the skills that we can bring. So now that we've talked about that, what's the one step that you can take today to make towards that change? Think about it. Drop it in the comments. Yes, build the portfolio and start networking. Yes, let's go do it. Like, let's empower ourselves. Rebuilding. You are going to find, Kaylee, I'm glad that you bring that up. Like, you are going to have peaks and valleys in your business. And it's a roller coaster that I will, if I get off, I'm going to get right back on. I did it myself. Like, it's a ride that is adventurous and fun and full of learning and full of pivots and corkscrews and all of the things. And you're going to find, you know what? It's time to pivot. It's time to make a change. And that's okay. And no one has to tell you what that's going to be. You get to make the choice of that. How do you start building a portfolio? Rosie, that's a great question. A portfolio really is going to be something that you can use that showcases who you are and what you offer and what the potential client's next steps are going to be. Canva is a great place to build that, but that's what you want to feature. You want to feature who you are, what you offer, your prices, your packaging, and what are next steps? What do they need to do? And we've taken the guesswork out of it by putting a template inside of Go Thrive in the VA Academy as well. So I want you to consider this. Is this possibly your next step? Sign up today. If you're interested, $397, and that's $100 off because on March 1st, the price goes up. It's a one-time offer. This is the only time that we're going to offer it. There are payment options. The link, they're going to drop the link down below. I would love to see some of you in there with me if this is the right next step for you. I want it to be something that you think about and consider as the right next step. We will walk you through step by step. We will be there for ongoing support and collaboration and helping you find those clients, helping you build that portfolio, helping you make those changes and those pivots. We want to help and support you along your journey. All right, y'all. Consider this for your next step. I so appreciate you. I so appreciate your encouragement, your love, your support. We are so excited about this new chapter at Go Thrive, and we would love to have you along with us. I hope to see you inside of the platform, inside of the course. And that's all for today. We'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.